to the line of fire. See a high-speed chase reach a thrilling climax.
Okay, he's coming up on the border.
Make sure they know this guy is armed.
Stick up 48 hours in 1 minute.
How reliable are home security companies? Special assignment tonight.
This is Imagine TV.
How many in your gang, Lefty?
You'll never break me.
Be a shame if that new Mercury of yours got scratched.
27, including Mom.
Here's something the whole gang can get comfortable in. A 1998 Mercury Mountaineer. Right now, get low 1.9 APR on a 98 Mountaineer with standard leather seating and a choice of V6 or V8 power. But make your getaway to a California Lincoln Mercury dealer now or you'll be sorry.
I'm sorry, Ma.
Till next time, imagine yourself in a Mercury.
To better serve our customers, sometimes we think like a child. That's why in a number of our more than 240 branches statewide, you'll find we put in a play area for the kids whose parents bring them along to the bank. Oh, it's just a few books, some blocks, and a box of crayons, but it certainly makes banking a lot easier. Union Bank of California, it's different here.
CBS presents this program in color.
48 hours. We take you there. An armed bank robber racing for the Mexican border.
All units, the suspect is wearing white jeans and a large caliber weapon with shoes.
The frantic chase.
Okay, he's making some evasive maneuvers, a little bit more evasive maneuvers now.
The police are desperate to stop him.
Okay, they're going to set up the spikes.
Make sure they know this guy is armed.
The bad guys are more dangerous than ever.
We've just been robbed and one of our tellers has been shot in the head. Somebody's got to help Monica.
How did they pick her and execute her?
Bill Lagatuda.
There's no reason.
On a mother of two who paid a tragic price for bank insecurity. What's it like for the cops when they're outgunned by a two-man army?
Watch crossfire. I've been hit.
Bill, we've got a live chase going on here.
Harold Dow with the FBI's secret weapon.
We're dealing with a crime of desperation here.
Let's just say I robbed a lot of banks. Even I lost count.
What's in the mind of a bandit?
I walked right in there, was so angry.
Real-life human drama.
Suspect hit the spike strip.
Okay, he just went over the spikes. We're 1 mile from the border.
Stick up.
Dial 102, please.
I'm Dan Rather, and this is 48 Hours. Every year in this country, bank robbers steal away with $60 million. 60 million. That's how much money you're looking at right here, right now. It's the first time a television camera has ever been allowed in here. A location so secret, we can't even tell you where we are. Good evening. It happens on average more than 20 times a day. Somewhere in America, a bank is robbed. But nowhere does it happen more often than in Los Angeles. The sprawling city that's home to Hollywood, movie capital of the world, is also the bank robbery capital of the world. And there's a troubling increase in violent stick-ups, making the business of catching a thief even more dangerous. Tonight, we spend 48 hours in hot pursuit. Stick-up. The target, Great Western Bank, Long Beach. The suspect is at large.
We're eastbound, number 1 lane. He's doing 30 miles an hour.
The pursuit is underway.
The vehicle pursuit is authorized.
Racing down a crowded highway.
He is making very furtive movement inside the vehicle.
We had an alarm that went off at your branch. It just came over our LAPD monitor.
We're looking at large amount of bank targets, a population that might be prone to rob such banks, and a way to move from bank to bank.
Here we go.
In and out, money gone.
The suspect is wearing white jeans and a large caliber weapon with shoes.
Charles 4 specifically asked for Highway Patrol's assistance, please. I want them to take the pursuit over as soon as possible. Make sure they know this guy is armed.
It's 2 p.m. at the FBI's bank squad in Los
When he
Angeles.
approached the teller, did he give her a note or was it an oral demand for money?
Well, he's still going. He hasn't slowed down.
Where the most experienced bank robbery investigator in the
You know
nation
the difference between an automatic and a revolver?
Bill Rehder
is already chasing his third bank robbery of the day.
Okay, early 30s.
An armed holdup at the Great Western Bank in Long Beach.
He placed the gun on the counter
apparently exhibited a large handgun.
and stated, give me the money.
That has now turned into a high-speed pursuit.
For increasing speed southbound from Lucadia at 76.
We don't know where this person is going.
This was an armed 211 with one guy, male Hispanic.
After 31 years of chasing bank robbers.
Does this happen quite often around here?
Yes, it does. It does happen more frequently than you might believe.
Nothing surprises FBI agent Bill Rehder.
What I'm saying is that this doesn't even compare to a day where you'd have 25 bank robberies.
He's the leader of a regional SWAT team. FBI, LAPD, chopper units, patrol cars, and detectives. Their mission?
As you can see, we've got 1,126 robberies in 1996.
To control the explosion of bank robberies in Los Angeles.
Basically, what does this say about Los Angeles?
Los Angeles has got one hell of a bank robbery problem.
Bob Tur, are you there?
Linda, this man was seen leaving a Long Beach bank with a gun in his hand.
We're dealing with a crime of desperation here, and people who are desperate for money will take long chances.
And today,
The driver is leaving back and forth from the center divide to the one lane.
Don't forget that we're dealing with an armed suspect here.
Daniel 7, the driver appears to be reaching for something in the front seat. I'm going to be backing off just a little bit.
one desperate man is on a collision course with the law.
How many times you go to a bank to withdraw some money from an ATM and have somebody walk out of a bank with a large caliber handgun?
Detective Terry Madison and his partner, Quentin Manis.
He wasn't looking around. He was walking directly to his car, gun and bag in hand.
They just happened to be outside the bank when the robber made his getaway.
And I was here and I took up a position in this manner here, and he got in his vehicle, and I thought, man, do I do it or do I not do it?
Get a possible 211 progress at the Great Western. Male white, got a long silver handgun.
And I heard Terry start broadcasting his description. I can hear the helicopter. The car pulled out, and we figured the safest way would be to follow him and take him down in a less populated area.
He accelerated up to almost 90 miles an hour. This is the on-ramp that he takes. He knows that he's wanted because he's just done a bank robbery. He knows that the police are behind him, so you don't know how he's going to react. It's very dangerous on a freeway.
He just did weird stuff all the time.
Two women who know the bank robber firsthand
He'll get out there in the alley and just pace up and down, up and down.
aren't surprised he's in trouble with the law.
And one night he threw a microwave off the balcony and smashed through a car window in the parking lot. He gets very angry, very easy.
And now, this unpredictable and violent man
You have just joined us.
is raising the stakes.
You're watching a high-speed pursuit of an armed robbery suspect.
He's making a run for the Mexican border.
We have 5 California Highway Patrol units over the pursuit. Also, a police helicopter just off my left now at 1,000 feet. They believe the suspect, like I said, is armed and dangerous. They're very concerned about this.
Okay, Bill Rehder, as we talk, this car is continuing to move closer and closer to the border. What options do they have open to them?
The adrenaline is pumping awful hard. Any individual whose adrenaline is pumping is very dangerous, particularly during the course of the getaway.
Turning 87R2, we're approaching Governor Drive at 75 miles an hour in the number 1 lane.
Okay, he's making some evasive maneuvers, a little bit more evasive maneuvers now.
The vehicle just went into the center divide, passing traffic in the center divide.
Okay, moving over across all lanes of the freeway. No, he's trying to lose officers.
And he's making very furtive movements in the vehicle.
He may have nothing to lose by running from officers.
An hour and a half into the high-speed chase.
This pursuit is now coming into the heavily congested downtown San Diego area, and if the pursuit continues along the 805 freeway, we can find ourselves coming up to the border area just about 10 minutes from now.
Coming up, a life or death confrontation.
Okay, he's coming up on the border, and this is a very dangerous situation. We do have a lot of traffic up ahead.
At the international border.
If he tries getting over the border at a high rate of speed, the national police from Mexico might very well open fire. And
later in our 48 hours.
Next
I call them the artwork bandits.
So we need all the help we can on these guys. Trying to catch some bank robbers of note.
One of the world's worst drawings of a gun with bullets coming out the muzzle and then striking some poor stick figure.
When hostage situations explode, they call in police negotiator Chris Sabian.
As of right now, all decisions go through me.
But this time, he's facing one of his own.
There's some bad cops among us.
A police negotiator who needs his help.
I'm just doing this to prove my innocence.
Academy Award nominee Samuel L. Jackson.
You are not in control!
Academy Award winner Kevin Spacey.
I'm surrounded by a room of people who want to kill him.
I wonder why that is.
The Negotiator, rated R. Sneak preview July 25th. Starts Wednesday, July 29th.
When your allergies are a nightmare, you need help. Not just any help. You need the power of Zyrtec. Prescription Zyrtec starts working fast and keeps on working for 24 hours. And Zyrtec works against so many allergies, from cats and dogs to pollen and dust. So when allergies are a nightmare, and when are they not? Remember the power of Zyrtec. In studies, drowsiness was the most common side effect. Others included fatigue and dry mouth. Most side effects were mild or moderate. Most people weren't bothered by them enough to stop taking Zyrtec. To learn more, look for an ad in Life magazine or ask your doctor or pharmacist.
Come on, bring me the heat, baby. Lucky shot. Oh, I'm so scared. Really scared.
Always pitched in at school fundraisers?
Quack, chicken.
Now, do even more with a Target guest card. Use it and we'll donate 1% of what you spend to your favorite school.
Hey, lady, want a piece of me? Come on.
Call 1-800-316-6142 for an application or to name the school you'd like to support.
Now I'm ready. Let her rip. Hey.
There are 10 million thousand things we have to do every day. Then we still have to do the laundry really well. Good thing Whisk has a targeted cleaning system. Now everything you wash gets done right the first time. Whisk, do it once, do it right.
My dad told me something amazing. You can actually strengthen your teeth.
With Mentadent you can. Fresh from the pump, Mentadent activates on contact to power fluoride to tooth enamel, penetrating to strengthen teeth. Mentadent, pump strength into your teeth every time you brush.
There's a million strange stories out there, and Brian Benben's gonna find them all.
Well, she's in there somewhere, folks.
He's on the air and off the wall.
How does it feel to be 102?
The Brian Benben Show, coming this fall to CBS Monday.
Want some milk, Michael?
Yes, Mother. Life on the weekend is very tame, purposefully so.
Relaxing at home with his family in suburban Los Angeles.
That's my my private time.
The FBI's Bill Rehder tries to leave behind the tense world of chasing bank robbers.
Do you think about some of the guys you're chasing when you run?
There's nothing you can do to shut it out.
Yeah.
But I've always enjoyed my work. I can't wait to get there in the morning.
Hi, Donna. This is Linda with the FBI. We have a holdup alarm here. Have you had a robbery?
Let's see what she's got.
He's the FBI's secret weapon against bank robbers in L.A.
We'll see if we hit it on the first one. It's my job to keep track of, at any particular moment in time, perhaps 35 to 40 different serial bandits or groups of bandits. This particular individual not only did 64 robberies, he did 6 in one day.
And they often leave a paper trail.
Well, here's a guy that he says, I have a gun in my picket. And we'll use it.
The stick-up notes used during the robberies.
This is a holdup. In my left hand here, I am holding a 200-kiloton nuclear missile. If you don't give me all your 100s, 50s, and 20s in both drawers, I'm going to launch this missile toward Saudi Arabia.
From the bank?
This is a guy that we call the Michael Jackson bandit.
Rehder comes up with nicknames for the bandits to remember them.
He wears only one glove. This guy was known as the Addis bandit because, although he indicates he has AIDS, he doesn't know how to spell it.
This Thursday morning, He's focused on two particular robbers.
I call them the artwork bandits.
They've already hit 13 banks.
This is a whole series of one of the artwork bandits.
And surveillance cameras have caught them in the act.
He has his hair pulled back into a ponytail, and as of yesterday, we have a photograph of artwork bandit number 2.
Their trademark?
One of the world's worst drawings of a gun with bullets coming out the muzzle and then striking some poor stick figure.
They are the classic note bandits, grabbing just a few $1,000s each heist.
It went down at almost 11 o'clock.
And Rehder thinks he knows their motive.
I think there's little doubt that drugs are the driving force behind them.
Rehder says 80% of the bank robbers in L.A.
When you're hooked, you're hooked.
Are driven by a need to feed their drug habits.
Suspect number 2.
If he can give us anything...
While Rehder masterminds the hunt for the art bandits from his FBI office, LAPD detectives Norm Jackson...
We had a getaway car drive down this alley. Have you been out here very long?
...and Tom Witch are out doing some legwork on the case.
The guy with the bun, he's going to be about 5'8" to 5'11", 140, 160 pounds. The other guy is a lot taller. He's 6 foot, 6'1". These guys are good for 13 robberies since February, so we need all the help we can on these guys.
Back at the FBI,
we have a hold-up alarm here. Have you had a robbery?
Bill Rehder is on high alert.
They did not rob yesterday, and since they have robbed the previous 3 days in a row, I fully expect to see a robbery within the next 2 days.
And sure enough...
Was the picture of the gun on the note?
Just 90 minutes into our 48 hours...
It's artwork.
17L40 on a 211.
Now the LAPD takes the lead.
We have a Bank 211 going right now at 9100 Tampa.
They've just hit this bank.
Suspect vehicle is a Bronx Thunderbird, last seen eastbound on North.
Roger, send me the incident. I'm only about maybe a minute away.
Police Sergeant Bob Davis happens to be patrolling just blocks from the bank.
We know he went on Nordoff, which is right where we were.
And he's chasing a suspect.
Can you get me an air unit, please?
FBI has notified us of a getaway vehicle.
Yeah, Roger.
It is a caramel-colored T-Bird, last seen eastbound at Nordoff.
But it's just a complete guess as to which way this guy went.
The suspect appears to have escaped.
It's just hard to get this close.
So Davis heads over to the bank.
We're going to go right to the bank right now and find out exactly what we had going.
Okay, so what happened?
He slipped the note in, but he was watching the door.
The man note with a picture on it, right? A hand sketch?
Yeah.
This is him. These are the guys. God, we were right here.
There was one person behind him, none was behind the person.
Juan Salinas was in line right behind the robber.
When he thought I was gonna, approach him or something, but that was not my intention, so that's when he pulled the gun out and pointed at me.
The teller didn't see the gun, but she did see the artwork.
He murmured something. I didn't hear what he was saying, so when I saw the note, I knew it.
The robbery is just 15 minutes old.
Detective? We have a possible suspect in a Brown Ford Thunderbird stopped over at Haskell.
And 2 miles away, police have pulled over a suspect in a Brown Thunderbird.
You just happened to be in a vehicle and fit a general description of someone who just did a bank robbery. Okay, you feel you would recognize him if you saw him again?
And they bring out a teller.
Is this going to be close enough, or can we go a little farther back?
To make a positive identification.
Bring him up to where I am. Yeah. Over here, we may have to have you go closer.
Unfortunately...
Definitely a negative. Okay, his hairstyle is very similar, but she wanted him to be a lot closer to look at his face. She says it's not him.
It's kind of funny, because, me being thought for as a bank robber.
But the police and FBI don't find anything funny.
Now we're seeing Brown Thunderbirds everywhere. There's one right in front of us.
Once again, the art bandits have eluded them.
When you have a group like the artwork bandits particularly, that are robbing as frequently as they are determined to keep this series going until they're caught. And by God, we're going to be there when it ends.
But right now, the art bandits are still rolling along, and they'll hit yet again before our 48 hours is up.
We're going to cut in the backside, and then we're going to loop around the building.
Tango 1, he's cutting across all lanes of traffic. He's in the one lane approaching the border.
That same afternoon...
We're getting close to the border, guys. It's getting close.
The heart-pounding high-speed chase...
Attempt for advised border to get in position.
...has now covered more than 100 miles and 3 counties.
Still using number 1 lane, 70 to 75 miles an hour, being pursued by 5 California Highway Patrol units. No shots fired, we understand.
And now, this armed robbery suspect is just miles from the crowded Mexican border.
He tries getting over the border at a high rate of speed, the national police from Mexico might very well open fire, and they have done that in the past.
You've got two objectives here: stopping the vehicle
safely,
and then dealing with the suspect, who is armed.
Exactly so. Exactly so.
Bill Rehder knows they're running out of time.
There was a handgun shown at the bank, and you have to operate, of course, under the armed and dangerous rule here.
10-4, still in number 1 lane south of San Ysidro. We make the stop. All units remind the K9 will be released.
At the border,
they have police officers down there that are armed.
California Highway Patrol Sergeant Bill Carrington makes a critical decision.
3 copy, you're at Palm, setting up the spike strip at Palm.
To deploy the spike strip.
He's coming down south here on the 805. They're talking about putting spikes here at the Palm.
It's a last-ditch effort to stop the armed bandit.
They don't want the suspect to make it to the border.
Units of the spike, we're approaching Palm and number 1.
We're backing up, we're still in the...
Coming up,
Palm Avenue, here it comes. Here comes Palm Avenue.
The dramatic conclusion.
Suspect hit the spike strip.
Okay, he just went over the spikes. He just went over the spikes. We're 1 mile from the border, and this is a very dangerous situation. We do have a lot of traffic up ahead.
Also coming up, it was like something you see in the movies.
It was like watching John Wayne ride in.
But this Hollywood shootout was incredibly real.
He wanted it all. He wanted it now.
An exclusive interview with the brother of the ringleader.
I don't want to buy a new PC every year till commencement. I needed one that would keep up with them. Gotta save something for college.
Introducing YourWare from Gateway. Call 1-800-GATEWAY and we'll custom build you a Gateway PC with an Intel Pentium 2 processor and internet access, all for just $49.95 a month. And in 2 years, you can trade it in toward the purchase of a new one.
You guys make sneakers?
Call us now and let's talk about YourWare from Gateway.
This amazing performance comes to remind you that right now it's Sears Performance Tire Sale. Where else will you find this great selection of top performance tire brands, including the Pirelli HP, at amazing prices? Only at Sears, your smart stop for tires and batteries.
This thumb itch.
He could be scratching to infection. Now try improved Lanacaine cream with antibacterial to help prevent infection. These can't kill germs.
Hey, the itch is gone.
Lanacaine cream, the only itch killer that's a germ killer, too.
Is this my lunch?
Not until you recite the rules.
I will never let this container out of my sight. I will care for it as if it were my own child.
I am so proud of you.
And even sacrifice my own body in order to protect it.
And?
And should I lose it, I can and will be replaced.
You're right about that, big guy.
A little overprotective of your food containers? Get Gladware. Containers you can use and use and use, and at around 50 cents each, still afford to lose. Now in the Glad section.
Birth control pills. Researchers and doctors have known for years that the widely used pills may reduce the risk of certain kinds of cancer in women, especially ovarian cancer. So why aren't doctors prescribing this potentially life-saving medication for any woman who may be at risk? The story tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
He's hopping, he's popping, he may go all the way, he will! Oh, what a catch!
This fall, the NFL on CBS.
Good job!
Of the $60 million stolen in bank robberies every year, only about $10 million is ever recovered. A lot of it adds up, a little at a time. The average heist nets about this much, $2,500. Most of the time when a robber hands over a note, a teller hands over the money quietly. But that is changing. Today, nearly a third of all the stick-ups in Los Angeles involve armed robbers, taking over the bank and terrorizing people. That's precisely what happened in North Hollywood.
This takeover robbery in February 1997 caught the world's attention.
Shots fired. Fully automatic weapon.
One of the most dramatic and deadly takeover robberies ever, the Bank of America shootout in North Hollywood.
I've been hit.
One of the officers have been hit. We are declaring attack alert.
The suspects around and they're shooting at everything.
Have you ever come across suspects as more dangerous than these guys or have seen anything like this?
Absolutely not. These surpass anything I have ever seen. and I hope I never see it again.
At first, I didn't believe it.
L.A. police officers Martin Perillo and Lauren Farrell were on routine patrol that Friday morning when they just happened to spot the suspects entering the bank.
What I see in very plain view are two guys in black Ninja Warrior outfits. They each have automatic weapons.
At that moment, he just started the broadcast that we needed assistance.
Requesting assistance, we have a possible 211 in progress at the Bank of America.
As soon as we exited our car, they started shooting in the bank.
Our concern then was that they might be shooting people that were inside the bank.
Just minutes after Sergeant Dean Haynes arrived on the scene, one of the suspects, later identified as 26-year-old Larry Phillips, casually walked out of the bank and began shooting.
It looked like he was going to fire. I yelled, "Get down." We all dropped, and the car just started coming apart in front of us.
The suspects are out, and they're shooting at everything.
The tires popped, glass and metal was flying.
The suspect is just daring people to come after him.
He wasn't looking for a place to hide, wasn't trying to take cover. He was just walking out there like, "Here I am. Where are you?"
It was the showdown every law enforcement officer had feared.
This is the first bank robbery.
Bill Rehder says the duo had committed two similar robberies nearly a year before.
They walked inside the bank carrying fully automatic AK-47 type weapons, which carry 75 rounds each.
But what concerned Rehder the most was that the suspects never seemed to be in a hurry.
These individuals were inside the bank for at least 7 minutes in the first robbery, way exceeding the limit for the usual bank robbery.
So what does this tell you about these guys?
That we had two individuals that appeared to be spoiling for confrontation with responding police officers.
He enjoyed it. He enjoyed the thrill of it. It was the adrenaline rush.
Dennis Franks should know he's Larry Phillips' half-brother. They grew up together in Denver.
There's nobody that knew Larry better than me.
This is Frank's first television interview.
He just despised being poor and everything about poverty. He just despised it. For him to see people that were wealthy and he wasn't, he couldn't accept it. He wanted it all, and he wanted it now.
Phillips' partner in crime was 30-year-old Emil Matasaranu.
One of the first comments that Larry made to Emil, in hindsight, it sounds really chilling, actually. He said, "You know, with your frame and your physique, you work out with me." He says, "Man, I can make you into a monster. I can make you into a monster." As bad as Larry was, one thing that he was he was a leader. Unfortunately, he could lead people down the road to destruction.
The road had led to riches.
These were the largest losses in bank robbery history.
The duo had already made off with over $1.5 million, but that obviously wasn't enough for Phillips.
He wanted to buy his own Lear jet, not just take the first class. He didn't want the beautiful home in Beverly Hills. He wanted a castle.
To get it meant robbing yet again.
This is Phillips. They have no reason to believe that anything has gone awry at this point.
But on that fateful Friday, something did go awry.
The door to the vault was closed and locked, which had not been the case in the previous two robberies.
The delay would prove fatal.
They step outside the bank at 9:32 a.m. They have been inside the bank for a full 15 minutes.
Enough time for the LAPD to arrive in force. So did the TV crews, who captured some of the most dramatic moments ever seen on live television.
Suspects are inside of the bank at the 211 in progress.
Lock the front door. We don't think the suspects know we are here.
Phillips and Matasaranu, both wearing full body armor, were clearly outnumbered by the police. Outnumbered, but not outgunned.
This guy is not going down. He's got heavy body armor.
The officers are firing at him, and he's not going down.
They've got automatic weapons. There's nothing we have that can stop them.
I knew we had to do something.
Any unit that is available to go to B&B and pick up some weapons.
Lieutenant Nick Zingo did do something.
15 Crash 41 is going to get guns.
Something extraordinary. He directed his men to the nearby B&B gun shop to secure some high-powered rifles.
There literally went up a cheer in communications division and said, "Good, now the officers can fight a fair fight."
By then, the shootout was in full swing.
Everybody was just pouring in gunfire on these suspects.
He's got heavy body body armor. Go for the head.
He was starting to become overwhelmed.
Suspect has retrieved additional weapons from the trunk of his vehicle.
Serrano then drove northbound towards the driveway. Phillips walked alongside his car, using it for cover.
The suspect is walking on the east side of the vehicle. He's taking it even more. Everybody down. Watch crossfire.
Surprisingly, Phillips and Matasaranu split up. It was the last time they would ever see each other.
I bet you Emil was more afraid of letting Larry down through that whole thing than he was about getting caught or shot or even killed.
The end came quickly for Phillips.
He draws his 9mm Beretta, engages officers across the street, drops the gun, bends down to pick it up, and the gun's pointed like this as he brings it up. He discharges a round.
I guess this guy was not going to be taken. He was not going to be arrested.
It was going to happen there, and it was his choice. And if he was going to get caught, killed, or whatever, he wanted it on his terms.
Matasaranu managed to make it down the street for his final stand.
The suspect is a white vehicle. He's shooting at civilians. There's all kinds of ricochets flying. Stay down, everybody. SWAT moving as we speak.
Knowing that SWAT was here, seeing them armed with their AR-15s, it was like watching John Wayne ride in.
M5, shots at M5. Too close to the suspect. They need to back off.
45 minutes, and some 2,000 rounds later, it was all over.
All suspects are in custody.
Matasaranu, wounded during the shootout, bled to death at the scene.
It's just an absolute miracle that no officers or no innocent civilians were killed. There's a saying that I'd rather be lucky than good. We were definitely lucky that day, but we had a lot of good people responding out here and doing what they had to do.
The police had every right to use the force that they did on them, but no matter what happened that day, he's still family. He was still my brother.
We're about 75 miles an hour into one lane. All units, if you make it to the border, back off and let them through.
Now, less than 5 miles from the Mexican border.
It's close, huh? Very close, very close.
The armed bank robber is still barreling forward at high speed. Up ahead, thousands of people in cars and on foot are unaware of the impending danger.
They are very worried about the suspect because they believe him to be armed with a handgun and don't want to take any chances and are hoping the suspect pulls over and gives himself up.
The California Highway Patrol decides to try a risky maneuver.
They're going to lay out spikes at Palm.
It's their last chance to stop the robber.
Essentially, the spike strip is a 12-foot section of spikes that you lay down in front of a vehicle's wheels.
California Highway Patrol Officer Mark Gregg.
Now, these spikes, they actually are hollow.
They are hollow. They're designed basically as little thin straws. They snap off in the person's tire.
Palm Avenue, here it comes. Here comes Palm Avenue, and that's where we heard they might be using the spikes.
Still in the one, approaching Palm at 70. Approaching Palm at 70, number 1.
They might have the spikes set up right below us. Okay, they're going to set up the spikes.
We're about 75 miles an hour in the one lane. Suspect hit the spike strip.
Okay, he just went over the spikes. He just went over the spikes. He's still going. The spikes haven't slowed him down yet. It's hard to tell, but it appears as though the car's riding rougher.
The vehicle is slowing to about 48 miles an hour.
It appears like he's slowing down. He's slowing down. He's slowing down.
This is a nail biter.
Daniel 7 is 2 left tires are flat.
There's the tire. He just popped it.
Tire debris everywhere.
Tires are disintegrating. The tires are disintegrating. They're falling apart. But he can still drive on those rims, like I told you.
Now you're going to have to watch how it's approached.
We're 1 mile from the border. There's a wide shot. There's the border at the top of your screen.
Whoop, here it comes. He's at the border, armed.
Vehicle still moving. Tango 1, he's cutting across all lanes of traffic. He's in the one lane approaching the border.
Right behind the bank robber.
We've been following the car for quite some time, and he's very worked up.
San Diego K-9 officer Sherry Ortega and her 5-year-old German Shepherd, Baron.
It looks like Baron's had some dental work there.
Yes, he's got caps on his teeth. Doesn't enhance his biting abilities or anything else.
Okay, they're now moving in.
Tango 2, he's going to the turnaround lane.
There it is. He's there. He knows he's at the end of the rope now.
Then, in a surprise move,
he looks like he's stopping.
Just 55 yards from the Mexican border, and surrounded by police.
People are running alongside, camera crews. Now he's trying to get across.
The robber tries to make a U-turn.
Use caution, there are several, looks like Border Patrollers that are running on foot towards the suspect vehicle.
But when he tries to get out,
he's trying to get out of the car.
His foot gets pinned under his car.
Now he's going to bolt, or try to bolt.
Okay, he just threw a gun, just threw the gun. There's the canine unit.
It's over.
Canine officer is now attacking the suspect.
Oh, man.
The thing he has to do is lay down and not move, but he doesn't understand. He's figuring out what he needs to do. He's figuring it out. Okay, there he goes. Now they have to calm the dog down.
Back up, please! Can you please pull the car off my foot?
This is where the 110-mile chase ended, just a few hundred yards from the Mexican border. It was here where law enforcement officials were finally able to positively identify the armed bank robber.
From Long Beach, through Orange County, on down to San Diego County, David Canales refused to stop for police.
Police say a weapon and money from that bank robbery were found in Canales' car.
But in fact,
he did have a gun. It was a replica of a weapon, non-functioning.
You mean the gun wasn't even real?
No, it's a replica.
So this is the best possible ending, Bill?
Well, apparently we have a live suspect, and we have no injured civilians or law enforcement officers. It's the best possible scenario we could have hoped for.
Still to come.
Western Financial Bank, we've just been robbed.
They stole so much more than money. The human cost.
They shot her point blank range.
Some private lost 3 of his brothers and he's got a ticket home.
Saving Private Ryan is brilliant, says Vanity Fair. An overture of pure cinema. And Entertainment Weekly calls it a masterpiece. A movie of staggering virtuosity and raw lyric power. Tom Hanks, Edward Burns, Tom Sizemore, Matt Damon. Saving Private Ryan, a film by Steven Spielberg. Rated R. Starts tomorrow.
You see coffee. At Sprint, we see data. Data from the field that works to project the future and allows access to information that helps people work together to achieve results on a global scale. A rich, robust blend of data that business relies on every day. Because business runs on data, and data runs on Sprint.
The red dye stains the robber and the stolen money.
48 hours. Stick up. Will continue. And here's what's coming up tomorrow on CBS This Morning.
I'm Mark McEwen. Tomorrow on This Morning, it's a war movie unlike any other. Saving Private Ryan star Tom Hanks talks about capturing the reality of war on film.
And on the CBS Evening News, doctors have known for years that birth control pills may reduce a woman's risk for ovarian cancer. So why aren't they prescribing them for that? We'll have a report.
Tonight on Dave, Mary Lou Henner's speaking in tongues.
And I'm a man of 51. I don't believe I've ever seen a sweaty tongue.
I feel so sorry for you.
I've thought about it.
Then some talk and some sounds with Gloria Estefan. Plus, Biff hits Branson.
Hi. How many of you guys are named Bubba?
Tonight on The Late Show.
Don discovers a bounty on his head.
That's really good news.
And he's wanted dead or alive. Trap? Nash Bridges.
Definitely a trap.
CBS Friday.
Tonight on Dave, Gloria Estefan. Only on CBS.
In dental school, we were never taught anything about estate planning. I had life insurance, and I thought that's all I needed.
Estate taxes can run as high as 55%. And unfortunately, those taxes are generally due in cash.
Prudential introduced me to estate planning. They were experts in their field.
We here at Prudential can work with you and your advisors to put together an estate plan that's right for you.
My Prudential agent helped me in preserving those assets that I worked very hard to build.
Designer Labels clearance sale is on. Up to 80% off the entire stock. Ralph's Club members save an extra 15% exclusively at Designer Labels for less.
Yo, down here. I'm the Brooklyn Bridge. You think you could take me? You want a piece of me, huh? Let's go. You and me. Right now.
The undeniably smooth, ever luxurious ES300. The road is calling. Answer it.
I got your fancy suspension right here.
Take off into the future. Take off into the past. Take off $10. Take $10 off the price of admission to Universal Studios when you visit Burger King and play the Small Soldiers game. Then, go to Universal and see the Small Soldiers behind-the-scenes experience. Save $10 off admission at Burger King. Then, take off to Universal Studios Hollywood. Game ends August 31st.
How reliable are home security companies? Special assignment tonight.
For a bank robber, this is the promised land. The vault, where the big money is. To stop a thief in this bank, 10 tons of solid steel, 1.5 feet thick. But that doesn't always stop them from trying. Just 8 hours into our 48 hours, and there are 2 more stick-ups to report. 11:36 a.m., target Vineyard National Bank in Diamond Bar. 4:27 p.m., a 211 armed robbery at the Wells Fargo Bank, Anaheim Hills. The suspect, a man the FBI calls the bottom drawer bandit. So far, no one arrested in either of these cases. These are the people on the front lines, the tellers. For their own safety and the customers, they are instructed to give up the money in a robbery. But that wasn't enough to prevent a tragedy in a community known to be one of the safest places in America, the Los Angeles suburb of Thousand Oaks.
Western Financial Bank, 2920 Thousand Oaks Boulevard. We've just been robbed.
The 911 call came on April 28, 1997, when 2 men burst into this small bank.
They were wearing yellow flickers like firemen wear. They had stockings over their head.
After taking the money, they shot one teller in the head.
Somebody's got to help Monica.
She was 39-year-old Monica Leach, a mother of 2.
My God, okay, stay with me. We're on the way. My partner's getting back to this right now. Okay, they shot her point blank range. Oh, Lord.
Once they shot her, they just calmly walked out.
Police Sergeant Rod Mendoza.
Why did they pick her and execute her?
There's no reason. The employees in there complied with everything. Everything they were trained to do, they did.
They simply executed her.
For no reason, they executed Monica Leach.
An assassination type, an execution-style killing of a bank employee is totally unheard of. We have not had but 3 tellers that have been killed during the course of robberies here in Los Angeles over the past 29 years.
You're the people that will confront the suspects. You're going to people that are going to deal with them.
When something like that happens, it scares tellers everywhere.
You want to look for characteristics of the person's features.
Like the ones in this training class, learning how to react during a robbery.
How many here have been the victim of a bank robbery?
Chad DeJong has.
You're terrified. You're afraid you're going to lose your life. Still thinking of it now, I still get a little nervous. And I mean, you can see my hands shaking right now. It still gets to me. This is 2 years later.
How risky is it to be a bank teller today?
Bank tellers are not listed among the high-risk professions.
Bill Whiprecht, head of security for Wells Fargo Bank, says banks do plenty to deter robberies.
It's got a full alarm system. Obviously, it's got telephone for 911. We've got cameras at both of the doors because we're going to get your picture when you come and go.
And if you do get away with the money, it might be filled with exploding dye.
The red dye stains the robber and the stolen money,
as demonstrated in the manufacturer's video.
Forces the robber to abandon the loot.
And some banks now keep tellers shielded with bulletproof plexiglass. The latest security measure, maybe coming soon to a bank near you, is called the man trap. And here's how it works. This is the front door to the bank. When I enter, I find myself inside a secure glass enclosure. Now, I have to wait for this door to close behind me before I can walk through that door into the bank. And that door won't open if I'm carrying a big piece of metal on me. A piece of metal that's, say, roughly the size of a gun. The man trap costs $40,000 to $60,000, but it seems to work. No Wells Fargo bank with one has yet been robbed.
If this works so well, why don't we see these in every bank?
The primary reason is because they're not needed in every bank. We do have some locations that have a higher robbery rate than other locations, even in the city of Los Angeles, and so you put them where you need them.
I was locked in the vault. I didn't see which way they went. Okay. I don't know what they drove.
But there was no man trap in that small bank, in a safe community, where a robber killed Monica Leach.
Just ahead.
You just go in there and you have control, you have the power of the place.
Inside the mind of a bank robber.
I'd be on the road and I could just feel myself shaking.
When you come into Home Depot, there are professionals in every department.
We have journeyman electricians,
master plumbers.
We've got roofers.
We hire the most experienced people in the market.
You've got people in every department in our store that have come through the trades or through the pro business.
Doing what they love, doing what they know.
I cannot let you leave here not knowing how to do it correctly. We're expected to be the best.
It's not, I read a pamphlet on this and I think I know what I'm talking about. It's, I know this product and I'm going to show you how to use it.
This is my grandpa Giovanni. Nobody tells stories like he does. Give him good food and good people, he'll charm you all night. That's how it was last night at the Olive Garden, where everything feels more like family, more Italian. Then, out came the seafood portofino. It was perfect. Italian seafood and wine sauce with scallops and mussels, shrimp and linguine, plus all the salad and breadsticks you want for $9.95. What a feast it was for all of us. And our ears, too.
You're beautiful.
The Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family.
At Snackwell's, we like to think that snacking shouldn't just be about treating yourself, but about treating yourself well. And it shouldn't simply be about satisfying your hunger, but about satisfying your hunger for life. In this spirit, Snackwell's introduces new Caramel Delights, luscious fudge cookies with creamy caramel and velvety icing, yet amazingly reduced in fat, so they're simply better for you. The all-new Snackwell's. Live well, snack well.
Just because a glass and surface cleaner is blue like Windex doesn't mean it cleans glass as well as Windex, because only Windex is specially formulated with ammonia D. It leaves a beautiful streak-free shine just about anyone can appreciate. Windex, the best on glass from S.C. Johnson Wax.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
There's nothing worse than a story without an ending. That's why in July, CBS 2 News follows up on our biggest special assignments. Tonight, Joel Grover's back with an alarming investigation follow-up. First, he exposed major problems with home security companies.
What took so long to come?
Now, see what happens when we test them again. Joel Grover, a special assignment follow-up. Tonight at 11, only on CBS 2 News.
Now, what did we do this weekend? Yes, Nicola.
We flew Concorde next.
Book any economy class flight on British Airways this summer and you could win one of 100 Concorde vacations for two to London. It's an unbelievable offer.
Did you know?
Buy a ticket now and you could win a Concorde vacation.
Take a good look at the 2.3 CL now. Because with its all-aluminum 16-valve VTEC charged engine, you probably won't get a good look at one on the road. The 2.3 CL from Acura. During the Summer Sales Classic, lease the 2.3 CL for $269 a month. The Acura Summer Sales Classic.
A murder in the Hollywood Hills. CBS 2 investigates at 11.
For all the stick-ups in the bank robbery capital of the world, it's not so easy to get away with the crime. In Los Angeles, 3/4 of the bank bandits are caught and prosecuted within a year and a half. One who did the crime and the time is Joe Loya. He's now a free man and a freelance journalist. We hired him to take us inside a bank robber's world.
My name is Joe Loya. Let's just say I robbed a lot of banks. The FBI estimated between 30 and 40. Even I lost count. The night before, I always knew I was going to rob. I didn't know exactly where. I had a vague idea it would be there or here. I kept those things kind of flexible. What to me was important was to focus on the job. The most anybody needs for a bank robbery is not any real getaway plan. It's just the nerve to go in there and do it. On the way to a bank, because I was not high, because I was not drunk, I could think and feel everything very clearly. I'd be on the road, and I could just feel myself shaking. I could feel my stomach. It was just in knots, and it was doing all these things. Almost what I consider red lights telling me, stop, stop, stop. You just go in there, and you have control, you have the power of the place. Incredible adrenaline rush. I never pulled a gun. Nobody ever saw a weapon. I just knew that at any time I could die. I detached from my role as the robber. That's the way I went in there thinking, I don't know them, they don't know me, I'm the robber, they're the victim. When you're leaving, the police are coming in the opposite way and you're leaving and they don't know it's you. You've fooled them. There's something really compelling about that experience. One of the craziest things I ever did and got away with was I walked into a bank, and when I robbed it, the woman was very difficult with me, and she wouldn't give me the money when I wanted. She just frustrated me, and when I finally left the bank, I realized she had kind of beat me. She only gave me $3,000 or something. I was so angry as I was counting the money or looking at the money, knowing that I just got a little bit of money, that as I walked out of that bank and I realized that I only had a little bit of money, I just walked into another bank before I went in my car. I walked right in there, was so angry that one I walked away with a pretty good amount of money. A lot of people wonder how it is that I went from being a student who wanted to be a theologian to becoming a bank robber. I wanted the easy way out. I wanted to make a lot of money and I wanted to make it fast. So when I got it, I wanted to spend it now. I had tailor-made suits. I drove nice cars. I took my friends and my girlfriend to the nicest places in town. I did what a lot of poor people do when they get money, and that's that they waste it. They live an ostentatious, gaudy life, and that's what I did. Questions always come up. Do I feel bad? Do I feel guilty? All those years that I was in prison, I didn't really have this total grief about what I did. I felt like, okay, I did something wrong, and I'm paying the price for it. But there's one woman, she was so scared, she was almost paralyzed with fear. I could never pay the price for this one woman who was so afraid that her image stuck with me.
Man, you gotta take a number in that place.
There's my beautiful grandmother. My mother passed away, so my grandmother took care of us. And she, too, made me swear that I would never go back. That's my brother. So tonight, this being a year later, I'm going back to my grandmother's house. This is Mexican sweetbread. And we're going to remember what a good night it was a year ago and what a really good night it is tonight. How you doing, Dad? Pretty good. I'm still out. This is the patio to my bedroom. Never had a patio in prison. Just had a nice cold cell. One of the reasons I write so much and can write is because I have this beautiful place behind me. It's not like the whistles for chow in prison. The buzzers telling you you can move. People yelling back and forth and you can't concentrate. You're always striving for a little bit of peace. Well, I got my peace after all these years. It sure beats a prison cell.
It Was there anything else on the note?
Next,
A picture of a gun shooting a stick figure.
the artwork bandits strike again.
Is it frustrating for you?
Absolutely. Nothing came in on the vehicle.
Will their bank robbing days ever draw to a close?
Joel Grover's back. First, he exposed major problems with home security companies. Now, see what happens when he tests them again. Special assignment next.
Want to know a juicy secret? Lowry's marinades. Herbs, spices, and a splash of fruit juice. Ready to grill in just 30 minutes. Lowry's marinades. The fruit juice makes the difference, and the difference is delicious.
A short story. The all you know is now Ultra All. It's concentrated, but just as big in stain lifting and value. New Ultra ALL. The stain lifter, that's all.
The way some people drive these days sure makes you want to talk to an Allstate agent. He can help you figure out how much protection you really need. Being in good hands is the only place to be.
Improved Quilted Northern? Impossible.
Grandma Mimi.
What have you done to my Quilted Northern bathroom tissue?
We've taken your idea of quilting and improved it.
Look, I made my Quilted Northern with lots of quilted places for moisture to go.
But now, Grandma, there are 40% more quilted places to absorb.
And leave you feeling clean. Not bad, kids.
From Grandma Mimi, that's a compliment.
Improved Quilted Northern. Quilted to absorb.
In the beginning, all was darkness and sorrow. And then, one day, come, it is time. The new Maytag Dual Cool Refrigerator, where finally the temperatures are just right. Yay, our future looks bright indeed, for this refrigerator actually keeps food fresh.
There was nothing on a vehicle on the art workers. Art bandits are still on the list, at least for now. No, nothing came in on the vehicle.
Remember the artwork bandits? Those guys who draw the picture of a gun on their robbery notes?
You just can't continue on at this kind of a pace and expect to remain unidentified and unapprehended. So.
But right now...
Was there anything else on the note?
That's exactly what they're doing.
A picture of a gun shooting a stick figure.
They hit yet another bank, the second within our 48 hours.
You know what these robbers look like. You've got photos of them. You can just about predict when they're going to hit another bank. Is it frustrating for you?
Absolutely. I would like to see these things put an end to immediately because I don't know exactly what the danger level that these two people present is.
They get away with robbery number 15.
This is the note that he left.
But now there's a new twist.
We saw another player, another bandit, jump into the game using this unique artwork demand note.
There's a new member of the artwork gang. He's Clarence Ingram. The FBI has also identified the man with the ponytail, Jovan Woodard. And another suspect, Ricky Lewis, has been arrested and is now in custody. And Rehder says it's just a matter of time before they're all behind bars.
So the chances on these guys staying out there much longer
are slim and none.
They'll do time.
They'll do time, absolutely.
It turns out Bill Rehder was right. Since we first aired this broadcast last September, the artwork bandits have now all been captured. 3 pled guilty to bank robbery and are awaiting sentencing. Also arrested, the alleged ringleader of the group. He is facing trial next month. So far this year, bank robberies in Los Angeles are down 16%. The FBI credits tighter security and tougher sentencing. By the way, the FBI says the average time it takes to rob a bank using a stick-up note is 40 seconds. As for some of the other cases we pursued, there have been no arrests in the murder of teller Monica Leach in Thousand Oaks. As a direct result of that high-powered shootout in North Hollywood, Los Angeles police are now being equipped with more powerful weapons. And the man who led police on that frantic chase to the Mexican border was judged incompetent to stand trial and sent to a state mental hospital. Hollywood and history have sometimes managed to romanticize the bank robber in America, from Jesse James to Bonnie and Clyde. But for the people coming face to face with the crime, robbing banks is anything but romantic. It is a dangerous fact of life. I'm Dan Rather, and that's 48 Hours. Now, here's a preview of our next 48 Hours. A 48 Hours mystery. Scandal in the schoolyard.
He touched me a lot.
He leaned down and he kissed me on the lips.
They want to fire this teacher.
What you have here is a nice man who does bad things to young girls.
He said, why don't we make this our little secret?
But are his students telling the truth?
I don't touch children inappropriately.
This is a fight.
You decide.
If there's the slightest possibility that he's guilty, I don't want him in the classroom.
Next Monday night.
Tonight, Gloria Estefan and Mary Lou Henner on The Late Show with David Letterman, the one to watch, following your local news, which is next.